On this channel, I've talked about my childhood/teenhood quite a few times. My disappointing Sweet 16, my cringy crushes, and more often the games I played as a youngin', including Hollow Hotel and Ace of Spades. In both of those videos, I mentioned that pirated Minecraft servers held my attention for quite some time. I played it for a while, having a blast all the way, but eventually moved on to pirated Minecraft. Eventually though, much like in my Ace of Spades video, I just moved on to other games. Specifically, pirated Minecraft, which, yes, I still plan on making a video about that as well. Today, I'd like to finally talk about that several weeks after I said I would. This story starts on YouTube in 2011. Back in the day, there is this little YouTube channel, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, called Machinima. That was a joke, by the way, but if you really haven't heard of Machinima, the quickest way I can describe it is that it was the main hub of a very popular gaming-oriented multi-channel network that featured content from its biggest creators. A lot of this content was Minecraft related, considering Minecraft was at the height of its popularity at this time following the release of Beta 1.8 in September of that year. Well, I watched a whole lot of those videos and was absolutely enchanted by this game, which at the time wasn't all that complicated. Your main objective was to just survive the night and occasionally build cool stuff. While the main Machinima channel and Machinima Respawn specifically featured a lot of Minecraft videos, one channel cemented my preteen obsession with it. The Yogscast. I'm talking OG Yogscast, post World of Warcraft, pre-Jaffa Factory, when it was just Simon and Lewis and occasionally Hannah. They had a series of Minecraft videos on their channel that would eventually become the Shadow of Israfel series that I watched religiously, right up until they just stopped doing it. Still salty about that, by the way. For the longest time, I wasn't really sure what it was about Minecraft that drew me in so heavily, but I recently realized why. Anecdote time. When I was in elementary school, my school held an annual trip to this 3-day summer camp upstate, except we went in November. You could only go if you were in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, and I went all 3 times. During this camp, you did all kinds of outdoorsy things, but my all-time favorite activity was hiking. This camp was located in the North Alabama area where lots of natural beauty can be found. I'm talking streams, canyons, and caves. Well, kinda. I distinctly remember us going to this area that was basically just a rock overhang, but it felt like a cave to me. All of that was to say, I had to have Minecraft. But, as is standard in this period of my life, I had no money. Not even the $26.95 required to buy the game. So I had to go an alternative route. Piracy. I think this is what actually pushed me to learn how to torrent things. Which, by the way, isn't hard at all. Before anyone jumps down my neck, I will say I've realized the importance of supporting indie creators, and nowadays I would much rather purchase a game than torrent it since I usually have the money. Adobe, on the other hand, can suck my toes because they're a big corporation that has a ridiculous business model and an example really needs to be made out of them. Moving on, pirating Minecraft was no big deal. There were tons of well-seeded torrents for me to choose from, and I wasn't worried about that. I was quite happy when I was finally able to play. I could once again capture the feeling of walking through the North Alabama wilderness in the crisp November air. After all, I was 11, and I had a particularly wild and vivid imagination at that age. The fact that it ran at a funky and fresh 5 frames per second on my crappy first laptop didn't stop me from enjoying it, somehow. The issue for me came from mods and multiplayer servers. I, for the life of me, just could not get a mod to work on pirated Minecraft. This is before the mods folder existed. You had to crack open the jar file, delete meta-inf, and manually put the mod files alongside the game files. For some reason, I can never get it to work. I always followed the tutorials to the letter, but no dice. Maybe that was some sort of copy protection, you know, like how EA tried to pwn the pirates when Sims 4 first came out by making the mosaic when your Sims went to pee or shower grow until it covered your entire screen, which got patched within days by the crack makers. Anyways, the lack of multiplayer server access was easier to explain. If you don't have an official Minecraft.net account, you can't go onto any servers. So, I was met with a problem. All I wanted to do was install Mo creatures and build craft and run an oil refinery with a bunch of cats, but I couldn't. I longed to play LINKZ on the Shotbow server like Uber Haxer Nova and Dan's News were doing at the time, but I couldn't. I felt left out, opting to play the various Minecraft off-brands like Infiniminer and Minetest, until I discovered the topic of this video, a service called Mineshafter. The exact way Mineshafter worked, I'm not really sure. From their instructions page, it seems like they use some kind of proxy server to circumvent however the official Minecraft server checks that you're using an official Minecraft.net account. The important part, though, is that I was able to install mods on the Mineshafter version, and I could play on servers. However, that was different as well. Again, I'm not really sure how it works, but after reading the limited info on their website, it looks like you had to have someone with a legit Minecraft account create a server using the Mineshafter proxy to again circumvent the official Minecraft service, checking that people who are logging into the server have an official Minecraft.net account. My two problems were fixed. Still couldn't go on the Shotbow server, but it didn't really matter because I soon found a server that would become my home for a while. When I first happened upon it, it was called Funcraft, but it eventually changed its name to EntireCraft. EntireCraft was pretty basic as servers go. You had a PvP world and a PvE world that I would stay in most of the time. I used popular bucket server plugins at the time, like the one that allowed you to lock doors and chests, and the one that allowed you to run a store with in-game currency. EntireCraft was run by a fellow going by the username Deesbull, and doubled as a legit server and a Mineshafter server. The server had a pretty strong community with a lot of regulars, and I eventually became one. There's even a website with a forum that I frequented for a while. EntireCraft, kinda like Yubo from my Habbo Hotel video, was very important for me in that I had actual friends, ones who I communicated with outside of the game, and ones whose usernames I do actually remember, partly because the website and parts of its forum were archived, and partly because these people kinda meant a lot to me. My username at the time was, get ready for this one, ZOMGZombies123. I will reiterate, I was 12. The EntireCraft server wasn't without its share of drama though, even some that I was involved in. Minor petty drama, but drama nonetheless. I was banned from the server. For only 3 days, but okay, I'll explain it. One day I was going about my business and I went to the shop I made in the city building part of one of the worlds, and my game starts to lag like crazy. Again, eMachine's netbook with 1 gig of RAM, but sometimes it ran at 10 FPS tops, which I somehow found acceptable at the time. But now there was a problem. It didn't take me that long to identify it though. It was coming from a house across the street from my shop. Fed up, I go inside the house and I'm met with a deafening clucking sound. Some guy had a chicken farm underneath their house. There were so many chickens, it was enough to cause a significant performance decrease. So I took matters into my own hands and started killing the chickens. Since I was at a funky fresh 1 frame per second, my aim was a bit off and I ended up destroying some blocks of the house. To my dismay, not long after I entered the house and took out my frustration on those chickens, the owner of the house caught me, reported me, and I was banned for 3 days for griefing. I tried to explain my situation in the forums, but nobody cared that my computer was too crap to handle a horde of chickens confined to one chunk of the map, so I stayed banned for those 3 days. Again, petty and minor, but it was a big deal to me at the time. Like all things, though, EntireCraft would meet its end. I'm not exactly sure when things would go downhill, but during my research for this video, I happened to find a surprisingly recent comment on a video from about 7 years ago saying, once Wolf was gone, less people showed up. Now, I do know who Wolf was. I can't remember his full username or his specific rank, but I do know he may have been an admin or moderator on the server. I even remembered we had some beef because I think I kept asking people to buy me Minecraft in exchange for, well, nothing, and he clocked me for it. Anyway, this wolf fellow was a popular member of the server, and eventually he left. For what reason, I'm not sure, but this apparently caused some folks to go with him. The server became dead, and Deesbull just opted to shut it down. As far as I know, it lasted from maybe 2011 to maybe the beginning of 2014. All was not lost, however. I managed to keep up with a few people post-server closing on a Skype group for former EntireCraft players. I tried a while ago, but I cannot seem to either remember my Skype account from that time, or the Skype account I used got wiped somehow. As stated before, I remember some people from that Skype group, 3 specifically. Pinder, Uvalk, and Matrix. As time progressed, I think it was just the 4 of us remaining in that Skype group. I remember my entire time there quite fondly, and I would like to get back in touch with them if possible, especially Matrix. We were best buds on the server, ventured onto other servers together, and even voice chatted a few times. I even remember his skin. It was a walrus in a business suit. We lost touch after a while though. I don't have any of his social medias other than Skype and that weird gaming app thing on my old iPhone, so I don't know where to find him. All I'm left with is an 8-year-old username and his real name, which I'm keeping to myself. If Matrix or even Pinder or Uvalk somehow come across this video, please contact me. Comment section, Twitter DMs, whatever. I kinda miss you guys, not gonna lie. If you're wondering, by the way, Mineshafter does still exist. Unlike Yubo or Ace of Spades, this pirate Minecraft service has stood the test of time. Doesn't really matter to me though. I ended up buying Minecraft for myself with my Christmas money in 2013. And yes, I did eventually get to play LINKZ on the Shotbow server. So I think that'll conclude the long-awaited 3rd installment of the Nostalgia series. There were other games I played around this time, like RuneScape and The Sims 2 and 3, but there's not really an interesting story behind either. I guess I could get into my OG Simbler days, but I'm not sure if that'll make a very interesting video, to be honest. I will consider it though. There are some videos of the Funcraft/EntireCraft server on a YouTube channel called Rarer's Serbin, who I think ran the server alongside Diesel. Fun fact, I actually made a sort of trailer for the Funcraft server on my original YouTube channel, but that video, along with all the others, has been deleted. I'm not sure if I have a copy of it anywhere, and I'm not at home anymore, so I can't dig through all my old crap to look for it. So, F's in chat for her. Before I go, I of course have some questions for you, the viewer. Have you ever used Mineshafter? Did you play on the Funcraft/EntireCraft server? I'd like to know. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to Andra for supporting me on Ko-fi. You can too, at the link in the description.